And welcome. It's Saturday morning. Welcome to Power for Parkinson's Young Onset Parkinson's exercise class. I want to give a big shout out before we even start to Jarmila from Czechoslovakia. Thank you so much for joining me this morning and joining us all week this week. We really appreciate your being with us. And to Bob, hello and welcome, Bob. I'm glad you're here. And I don't know how many other people are. I didn't see anybody else in the chat room. So hello to everybody else that's out there and welcome. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Let me just make sure that you understand this is for young onset, people with mild symptoms, people that are familiar with exercise, people that can exercise for an hour standing and that can get on and off the floor comfortably. You can, if you have balance issues or feel you can use a chair next to you, and I will show you some ways of modifying using a chair. Or I really suggest just doing some of these exercises near a wall, just so that you can do the exercises completely and get as much as you can out of it and not worry about balance. Keep yourself safe. The other thing I just want to mention is that we're getting some really great viewing people. We're getting quite a number of people watching our young onset exercise class, but we're not getting a lot of people watching while I'm doing this live. So if you are watching this later in the week or later in the day, maybe you can just send us an email or a text or something and tell us if there's another time that would be better for you, and also any other things that you'd like to mention about our class, comments, positive reinforcement, whatever you've got to say about our class, let us know so we can continue to make this better and better for you. So we're going to get started. You may need some light weights this week. If you have some, if you don't have weights, you can hold water bottles. They will also offer just a little resistance for you, or cans. You can use some canned foods items, and that will also help if you need it. Otherwise, everything can be done without any weights at all, and that will be fine too. So let's get started. We're going to start off with our warm-up, about 3 or 4 minute warm-up, and then we'll continue on. If my warm-up doesn't work for you, you may want to just kind of run around the room or just get warmed up on your own. I'm going to start off by taking side steps here. I'm going to start off by not doing that. I'm going to step behind it and start off with my side steps. So I'm just going to take gentle, easy side steps to the side, adding my arms, swinging those arms. And the purpose of the warm-up is very important. We want to make sure that we're getting all our joints prepared. We want to make sure that we're getting our heart rate up slowly and safely. We don't want to make sure that we're getting blood and oxygen into our muscles, into our brain, into our heart and lungs. You want to do all that nice and safely. So you start off kind of easy and then you gently build up. So we're starting off on the side. I'm going to add some upper arms. Whenever you add your arms overhead, you are raising your heart rate up, even if you're not moving, just raising your arms overhead. We've got a leaf blower outside, so if it's a little loud or interruptive, I apologize for that. They're usually not here, but if you do find that it's interruptive, maybe give us tell us, and we can, next week we'll mic up. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's add a hamstring curl. That means we're just gonna lift that leg behind you. Keep those arms up, and from here, let's go for 2 on each side. 2 here, and 2 here. Keep going. 2 here and 2 here. 4 more. Let's go. 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Let's take it to a knee lift. Up and up. Keep that knee nice and high. I always like to bring my hands underneath when I do knee lifts in a warm-up because it forces me to lift that leg just a little higher. So let's keep going with those arms and legs. Keep going, keep going. We're going to do 2 on each side. Here we go. 2 right, 2 left. Keep going. 2 right, 2 left. Let's take it to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. Back to 2s. 1, 2, 1. Back to singles. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Gentle kick in front. Kick. So now we're warming up getting more into the hamstrings and glutes, not just the quads. Gentle kick from each side. Let's take these to 2. 2 right, 2 left. And I can feel my heart rate coming up now, and it feels good. And we're warming up physically. And the temperature is getting warm in here. Also, it must be me. Nice and warm. Good. And 8 more. Single. 8, 7, 6, 5. Go. 4, 3, 2. Let's do some jacks. Out and in. When we do jacks, you don't need to go real wide. And a modification of the jack is right and left. And we are going to be doing jacks later. So the modification for a jack, as long as we're doing them now, is right and left. Right or full. Up, up, up. Give me 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. March it out. Go. All right. Keep those knees nice and high. Little higher. Little higher. Widen your legs nice and wide, and we're going to get into those quads right here. Swing your arms right, left. Swing them out. Good. Come on down a little lower now. And just a little lower. Keep going for 8 and 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring it in nice and gently and continue marching. Arms overhead. Exhale. Arms overhead. Exhale. 2 more times. Bring it up and down. Last time. Up and all right. So just kind of shake it out, grab some water, and we're going to start. What we're going to do here, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you 6 different exercises. We're going to do each one for 50 seconds, time in between, to get in position for the next exercise. Each exercise has a large muscle focus. We're working on different muscles of the body, and each exercise is specifically picked out or chosen to address a common symptom of Parkinson's. So the first exercise we're going to do is a mountain climber. Let me show you. Mountain climbers. Mountain climber, you start in a plank position. You can do this on the floor. I like to use my bench because the angle for my wrist is a little better for me. You can do this on the floor. You can do it on the wall. You can do it on a chair. So you start in a plank position. You bring your knee up. And that's it. This is a full body exercise. So you can do it here. If you're going to use your chair, you just make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists and you bring that knee all the way in. All the way in. And if you want to do it on the wall, the exact same thing. Hands are shoulder height, maybe a little lower. Bring those legs away from you and bring the leg in. I promise any of those will give you a good benefit. Any one of them are good for you. So let's try that for 50 seconds and see how that works. Okay. And go. Find your position and we go. So make sure that your shoulders, your arms, your shoulders are right over your hands. And we're bringing that knee in. Now, a lot of you may be more familiar with doing this for a cardio exercise by running it out. You don't need to run to get all the benefits out of this. That's a great thing. That's a great way of getting your cardio in. But by going slow, you're really using the core, really using those shoulders, your core. You're using every part of your body to really work consistently, strong, and hard. And we're just pulling in real gently from the abs, working those abs, working the entire core of your body, both front, back, and side. It's a great exercise. Be careful that your hips are not way up in the air when you do that exercise, because that will bring blood to your head. So that's our first exercise. The next exercise is a lower body exercise. It's an in and out squat. You may want to take your chair for this one just for balance. You start in, we go out to a squat, come in, sit down when your legs are together, in, and then out to a squat. And this is where, if you'd like, you can add a weight. The weight can be held in a lot of different ways. The weight can be held nice and close to your body, or the weight can be held out away from your body, which will also give you just a little more to that if you want. So let's do the in and out squat together for 50 seconds. Here we go, starting in, sit down, open, in, and open. Now you can go at any pace that's comfortable for you. You can speed it up a little more, you can take it a little slower, whatever works for you. Remember, we're working large muscles here, working a lot of different muscles here. So it's not about fast. This is not a cardio exercise. This is not we're not working high intensity intervals here. We're working on just taking different large muscle groups and working them. So this is for glutes, back of leg, hamstrings and glutes. You get a little shoulder in if you're holding weights. That's fine. Just sitting nice and make sure your shoulders and your head are nice and tall. You don't want to round out your back. You don't want to come down like this. Again, that will just raise your blood pressure. Not great for your back is also. So that's our second exercise. Our third exercise is called a farmer's walk. You're going to need your hands over your head. You can do this without weights. You can do this with your water bottles if you want something just a little extra. And I'm going to add weights. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those weights over your head here by your ears and walk. Heel toe, heel toe. And I'm going to ask you when you're walking not to twist at the end. Don't twist when it's time to turn. Take steps and turn. So let's do that for 50 seconds and work on that. This is a great exercise for upper body. Really works on shoulders, on chest. We're working on arms. Think about taking those your shoulders, and instead of lifting them up to your ears, take your shoulders and drop them down while you're straightening those arms. Keep your arms nice and straight. Try not to bend them. Leave them over your head. Now they should not be in front of your head, it's directly overhead, so that your balance, so it's not throwing your balance off. You want to make sure that we're just gently walking right, heel toe, and we're working on lifting the chest, straightening and strengthening that upper back. We're pulling in the core, so it's also a lot of core work as well, and that's our 50 seconds. The next exercise is a bicycle, so you're going to need to get on the ground. I'm going to show you my bicycle. This is how I'd prefer that you do this, and I think you'll see it's very different than maybe what you're used to. What I'd like you to do is come down to the ground. One leg is extended, the other leg is bent. So we're working opposites. You're going to take the opposite elbow, reach it to that knee, and hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to drop, switch legs, switch arms. All right? And again, we're not switching real fast. We're going slow and controlled. You're going to feel a very big difference when you do it that way. So let's do that for 50 seconds. Everybody join me. One opposite elbow, opposite knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Drop, switch. Now you don't have to go at my count. In fact, I'm not going to count anymore. I'm going to let you go at your count. But just remember that your hips are pushing down into the floor. Switching. When you switch, everything drops for a minute to release those muscles. You're squeezing that elbow into the knee, pushing hard. This elbow stays on the floor. Try not to lift that elbow, the opposite elbow that's on the floor, because that's going to support your back. You want to make sure that your back is safe during these bicycles. So your shoulder blades, only one shoulder should be off the floor. We're working right through that core, all those muscles nice and tight, just holding it right there. This is a really great, strong, hard exercise for your core. Let's stay down on the ground and go on to our next exercise, which is a plank row. This is a full body exercise. We're going to use all the muscles in the body. You can use weights, you can use your water bottles, or you don't have to use anything. We're going to stay in a plank. Put that weight in between if you want. We're going to take one arm at a time, row back, put it in the middle, put that arm down, grab hold of the other hand and row. It's a rowing motion. Try to keep your body in a flat plank when you're doing this, and find your positioning, and we'll get started. Here we go. Plank up, I hit the wrong button. Plank row. Here we go. All right, so plank position, arm comes up and down. If you find you don't have great balance in this position, widen your legs. That will give you a better balanced position, and you'll be able to work the entire body appropriately and not worrying about balance. Try to lift that elbow up. Try not to go too fast. Once again, we're working the muscles. This is not cardio. Go at your pace. We're lifting up. This is shoulder, chest, arms. This is abs, core, balance. Continue just lifting that arm nice and high. It's a really good full body exercise. We're using those legs are holding you up. Your core, you're going to feel your abs working. Just keep lifting those arms one at a time gently. And again, you don't have to use the weights. You can get just as much out of it without them. When you stand up from this position, and we are going to stand, put your stronger leg in front of you, hands on here, head up, and lift. That's just one of those really great rules of thumb people don't learn until they have difficulty getting off the floor, and you should be learning it way before that. The last exercise is a cardio exercise. We're not going full out. We're just going to get that heart rate up. So I'm going to ask you to march with your arms overhead. You can add a weight and move it. You can add a water bottle if you want, but we're just going to keep your arms overhead, up and down while you're marching. So let's get that heart rate up now that we've done all that muscle work. Here we go, up and down, 50 seconds. Try to lift the knees a little higher. As I said when we were doing our warm-up, whenever you lift your arms over your head, your heart rate automatically goes up. So that's why we're using these arms. The march may not do it enough, the arms will. The arms will get your heart rate up. So let's just have some fun with this. Don't go all out, don't worry about it, stay at your pace. If moving your legs like this is uncomfortable or your balance is off, do this holding onto the wall, that's fine. That's just working those legs. Hold onto the chair. Any way you do it is fine, just keep moving. This is a moving exercise. If you need to or want to take it to a jog or a run, good for you, that's up to you. But what we're really doing is just getting the heart rate up at whatever is a comfortable level for you. Not all out, not high intensity, just the heart rate up. So those are our 6 exercises. We're going to do another set of all of those. This time, I want you to really, really concentrate on working each exercise to the best you can. So we're going to start off with those mountain climbers. Please grab a water if you do need some, and we're going to get started. So that means you're going to need to get on the ground, hands over your shoulders, one knee at a time. 50 seconds. Let's go! So for this particular exercise, this is a great exercise for people with Parkinson's because I'm forcing you to lift those knees nice and high. It's wonderful for gait, for reminding your brain to lift those legs nice and high. A lot of people start to shuffle or take small little steps. This just retrains or reminds the brain to lift, to really lift those legs. So I love this exercise. By the way, the added benefit of this exercise is core. Whenever you take one foot off the floor, you're changing your balance. All the sensors in your brain are telling you not to fall over. So we're working on balance. And again, whenever we're only a few feet or inches off the floor, we're safer working on balance rather than standing on one foot. And there's our 50 seconds. So you're going to lift your hands on your thigh and stand up. The next exercise are the in and out squats. You're going to step out, step in, squat, step out, and step in. All right, if you want to grab some weight for this exercise, great, go ahead. All right, so we're going to start here. And I chose this exercise specifically, again, for lifting the legs. I want you to really concentrate and think about lifting that leg. I don't want it too wide, but I do want you to lift it. So in other words, this is not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a lift, squatting and lifting. We want to get that heart rate up by dropping and lifting, but we want to make sure we're doing it safe. We want to make sure that we're lifting those legs. This is all about gait. But if you'll notice, whenever we shift our weight right and left, we're also working on balance. That's most people lose their balance while shifting weight, moving from one direction or the other by shifting the weight. So you want to make sure that that's also what we're working on. Keep it nice and slow, your pace, or pick it up, it doesn't matter. Stay at your pace. The next exercise is the farmer's walk. Grab your weights, water bottles, or just get those arms overhead. Get to one side of the room and let's start walking. Please remember, this exercise is all about posture. That's why I chose it. Arms overhead, this is about balance. Most importantly, it's about posture. Now, a lot of people with Parkinson's find that their posture changes, and they may be leaning forward or hunching their back, or rounding out their back. This exercise reminds you and forces you to stand tall. If those arms are by your ears and you're pushing down with your shoulders, we're strengthening the upper back, we're strengthening the core, strengthening the arms as well. But really, for Parkinson's, this is a great exercise because we're working on posture. There's not a lot of exercises that specifically works on posture. This one does. Now, you won't see that on the, if you go Google it and say, what's farmer walk, what's the farmer walk, what's it good for? But it will always say posture. It may not say that it does all those things I just told you, but it is a great exercise. All right, now we're gonna hit the floor again. Bicycles, 7 counts, your pace. Hit the floor nice and easy. Remember, we're working right arm, left arm, right leg, or vice versa. Nice and easy. Staying in one side for 7 counts. All right, so one leg is extended, other leg is bent. We're coming up and holding. I like this exercise because it crosses the midline. Crossing the midline makes you use your brain much more fully. And we always want, for Parkinson's, we want to use that brain as much and as fully as we can. So crossing the midline is essential for an exercise. It's really important. The other reason why I like it is it forces you and reminds you to work contralaterally, to walk right leg, left arm, and vice versa. And by doing that, again, a lot of people lose that or don't swing their arms at all. This reminds the brain that natural motion. It's also good for balance when one side of the body is swinging while the other side is swinging. Stay on the ground. We're moving over on the other side to a plank row. You may want to grab those weights, water bottle, or just row. So rolling over, nice long plank, and begin. All right, so we're going to lift one arm at a time, nice and high. Nice and high. This is all balance. This is all about balance for Parkinson's. This is what I was talking about earlier. I want you to shift your weight all the way to one side. You can even rotate. Now, yes, it's an upper body exercise, a lot of shoulders, chest, and back. But for our purposes, it's all that. But it also is forcing you to hold your core nice and tight, to be aware of where your body is, working on balance. Make sure your arms, your shoulder is over your wrist. You're not leaning in front. You're just nice and straight and even. And just pull. And you will feel a nice little exercise in your core. That's the balance. Those are the balance muscles. Just keep lifting and rowing. The next exercise is the plank. No, we did that. Is the march. So make sure one leg is in front of the other. Hands on your thigh. Lift up and get ready to march. All right. So we're going to go right here, arms overhead. And again, staying at your pace, not mine. You can take it way up if you want to. If the arms are too much, bring them down here and just march. Get those legs going. Think about, I want it to be a little faster than a walk. I want it to be a little faster, but not that much faster, because you will get your heart rate up just by lifting it a little more. And you, again, if you use those arms, you'll get your heart rate up. And this one is all about getting blood and oxygen to the brain, feeding the brain. Good nutrients for the brain. And we're also filling the lungs and the muscles with oxygen and blood. So that's also the other advantage of this. We want to get that heart rate up. Think about moving those legs. Try to lift the legs maybe a little higher. That will also increase your heart rate, increase the pace, and there it is. How about let's grab some water. Those are our 6. Grab some water because the next round, we have one more round. The next round, I'm going to add a cognitive exercise to some of these, not to all of them. The first one is the mountain climber. we're just going to go straight out because I think that uses everything. We don't need to be, we don't need to be adding a brain, but we will add for some others. So let's hit the ground after you grab some water, get in your position, mountain climbers, bring your knee to your chest. And once again, you can use the chair. In fact, I'm going to use the chair for this round. So here we go. Mountain climbers, hands are over, legs are in back, and we're lifting. Nice and easy, just bring it into your chest. Try to really squeeze your abs each time you bring your knee into your chest. And make sure that we're also actually, just reminded me, we're also working range of motion here, meaning that we're extending those legs as far back as we can. As far back as we can. And our arms are fully extended in front, range of motion. A lot of people lose that range of motion or don't realize they're not going fully extended, arms or legs. So this trains the brain, reminds the brain to get your limbs as far as they will go. Fully extended in front of you, fully extended behind you. Try to be careful not to bring them here. This is something different. We want a full range of motion. There it is, good. The next exercise does have a little fun little exercise, a little cognitive attached to it. So these are the squats. You sit out, sit in, sit out and in. Every time you go to the right, I want you to think of a television show. Every time you go to the left, I want you to think of a canned food. If you get stumped, stay in that squat until you can come up with one. Okay? 50 seconds, television, canned food. Here we go. And I'm not going to help you. I'm just going to confuse you by talking the entire time. So remember, each time you go to one side, you're going to sit in the middle, and then on one side is the television show, and then center, and the other side is a canned food. Now, I did this last night to see how well I could do, and I got to tell you, I ran out of canned foods. So I sat in that squat for quite a while. So either way, it's a win-win, because if you did sit down in that squat, you're building muscle right there, strengthening the legs, which is great for walking and gait. But we're also training the brain, stimulating the brain, challenging the brain. So keep going, right, left, right. Keep coming back to the center. Use those arms in front. Head and chest are up. There it is. We're going to do farmer's walk is next. Hands are directly over your ears. I'd like you to come up with as many names that start with the letter L for the whole 50 seconds. And there's no time, it doesn't matter. Just keep going, as many as you can think of. And I'm going to start you off with Lauren. So here we go. All right, and again, I'm not helping you. This is up to you. Arms are overhead. You're landing heel toe. Your arms are over your head, not in front of you. We're working balance. We're working posture. So keep those arms fully extended and think of all those names that start with L. This may be a little easier than canned foods for you. I don't know. But see what you can come up with. See if you can come up with male names, female names. I don't care if they're not English. You can use as many names as you want. You can use, last names count as far as I'm concerned. Just thinking, get that mind thinking about something else than what you're doing. But that said, I still want you to get those arms fully extended, open your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades down, shoulder blades go down, keep walking, heel toe. How'd you do? All right, let's put the weights down, keep them close by, we're gonna need them again. The next exercise is the bicycle. We need to count to 7 for this exercise, so no cognitive, let's just count. So hit the ground, opposites, we're working on opposites, push that knee against the elbow. Here we go, 50 seconds. And I'm gonna start right here, making sure, I want you to really think about while you're counting, think about pushing your hips into the floor. Push your hips into the floor. That will force all these core muscles to really be engaged. Make sure that your elbow that's on the floor stays on the floor. We're not lifting that elbow, keeping that one down, and this one comes up. If this is really difficult for you, bring that leg up. That's fine. That's not cheating. There is no cheating. If you're doing it, you're doing it. There's no cheating in this exercise. You're just doing it at your level. If this is not hard enough for you, you can challenge yourself by really extending that leg and really pushing that elbow into the knee. That will absolutely engage your core even more. But stay at your pace. They're all good. Every modification that you do is perfect. You're going to roll over now, plank rows. I want you, for the plank row, every time you lift your arm, I want you to come up with a board game. Think of a board game, children's board game, whatever. Board game, something that you played, hopefully, in your childhood, or maybe still are, with sheltering at home. I bet a lot of you have been taking out some board games. So here you go. This may actually be easier now that we're all have been sheltering. So come up with one. Each time you lift those arms, you're coming up with a board game. We're taking that brain, challenging the brain away from the exercise, thinking about something else while you're doing the exercise to the fullest and best of your ability. Lifting and pulling, finding your balance, board games. And I'm not helping at all. This one also stumped me, I have to tell you. I was really good for about 30 seconds, and then I just dumbed out. Could not think of any more. So just see what you can do. Do your best. It doesn't matter. We're just having some fun. So keep lifting those elbows nice and high, twisting the body a little. Get those arms strong and back, and there it is. We're going to stand up and do the march next. Again, I always keep reminding you, leg in front, hands on your leg, lift nice and tall, head above. All right, the last exercise, number 6, we're marching with those arms up. And I'm not going to give you anything to do because I just want that heart rate to come up. We are done with that, with all of those brain games for now. We are going to go on and do a little more, little sneak preview for the next part of our exercise this morning. But right now, I want you just to think about how you're feeling, getting that heart rate up, using those arms, lifting those legs, breathing nice and deep. Or if you're breathing too deep, drop those arms. Stay safe. This is about you. This is not about anybody else. This is your exercise time. So keep it going nice and big or smaller. Be safe. Keep going. Lift those legs a little bit. You may want to just pick it up a little and go a little faster. That's fine. Just keep it going. We are almost done. We've got 1 second to go. And there it is. All right. Good. So those were our 6. That was our 3 rounds of 6. I'm going to move this out of the way for our next section here. So grab some water. Let me explain what we're doing. This is new. I have not done this in our previous Saturday morning classes yet. I'm going to give you 4 different exercises. We're going to do all of those exercises in order and then out of order. So the first exercise is number 1. That's what we're calling it, number 1. And number 1 is a right leg front lunge. That looks like this. Right leg comes forward. You take a nice big wide step. You reach forward, reach front lunge, and then push back. Right leg, left arm, front lunge. Let's do 8 of those together. Here we go. 1, 2. You may want that chair here. 3, or do it near your wall. That's fine. 4. We're working opposites contralaterally. 5. Keep going. 6 and 7, last one, here it comes, and 8. Standing tall, legs together, that's 1. Exercise 1. Exercise number 2. Number 2 is a floor squat. I say that, I want you to reach toward the floor. You don't have to touch the floor. So you're going to be in a squat position, your legs are wide, you're going to reach toward the floor, making sure that your hips go behind you, arms are here, but you're not reaching down here. I don't want you to lower your head. Floor squat. Number 2. Here we go. 8 of those. 1, 2, 3. Reach. Come on down. Come on down. 4. Good. Sit back. 5. You can touch the floor if you can. 6. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just come near your knees. 7 and 8. So we've got front lunge 1, floor squat 2. Number 3 is a left leg front lunge. So the left leg comes in, the right arm comes down and back. 8 of those. Number 3. 1. A lot of balance here. 2. Lifting the leg and going nice and far. 3. Retraining the brain to go forward. Big steps. 4. Exaggerate intended steps. 5. Nice and big. 6, and 7, and 8. The last exercise is a jack. You can do this any way you want. You can do a jumping jack. You can do a modified jack, as I showed you in the beginning, but it's a jack. And that is number 4. So let's do 8 jacks. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we've got 4 exercises. Front lunge, right leg. We're going to do all of the, then floor squat, then front lunge left, then jack. 4 exercises. Let's do all of them twice. Here we go. 1, front lunge. Again, front lunge. 2, floor squat. Floor squat. Number 3, left leg, front lunge. 3. 4 is a jack. 1, 2. Let's do it again. 1, front lunge. Front lunge. 2, floor squat. 2. 3, left leg, front and front. 4, jack. 1, 2. One more time, I'm not going to say it. 1, 2, 3. How are we doing? 4. Let's do it backwards. 4, 3, 2, whoops, and 1. Have you got it? Now out of order. 2. 2 of each, whenever I say, whatever number I say. 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. All right, we're going to do each one twice. I'm going to give you an order. Here we go. 2, 4, 1, 3. Go. 2, 4, 1, 3. Let's do it 2 more times. Now I'm going to say 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go for it. All right. Now, are you ready? I want you to do 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2. Go. 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2. 3, 4, 2. 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2. Done. All right, that'll take us for today. Let's cool down and see how we feel. So let's bring those arms all the way overhead. Go for the sky. Nice big reach for the sky and drop. We're stretching out the core. We did a lot of core exercises today. Let's just lengthen and stretch out those muscles. Bring it all the way up. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Now drop them down. Let's stretch out your obliques. We're going to just widen the legs. That's for balance. You can take that chair near you if you need it. That's fine. But we're going to tilt, not bend. Tilt and just lengthen and stretch all those oblique muscles, those side muscles. We did a lot of exercises using those today. So let's just give it a little break and stretch it out. And we want to stretch all the way over to the other side and hold it. And we want to try to hold it. I'm yapping because I want you to try to hold these stretches for at least 10 to 15 seconds. And we come back. Let's stretch out the glute. I'm going to use the wall for this one. Take one leg, cross it over the other leg, right above the thigh, and lean gently forward. This is a forward exercise, not a down exercise. We're stretching out the glute. Hold it right here and just take deep breaths and stretch it all out. Try to get some of that lactic acid out of your muscles. Try to lengthen and just relax those muscles. Great job. And then we're going to switch sides, taking the other leg, crossing it at the thigh, sitting back. You'll notice we're trying to sit back on these as much as you can. Try to drop that knee so it's not directly in front of you, and just sit back and lengthen those muscles. I like and encourage people to go forward instead of down, because your heart rate is up and there is blood rushing to your brain. We want to make sure that you stay safe and you don't get dizzy or raise your blood pressure. So you always want to try to keep your head, especially after exercise, when you're stretching, above your chest. And gently release. Now we're going to take one leg at a time. Stretch out the hamstring. Lift your toe all the way up. Leg is in front of you, and reach into it. Now I like to do this keeping both hips even. Some people bring that hip all the way forward. You'll still get a good stretch there, but if you push back, you'll see how much more you get out of it. And if you need to, you can drop that toe. That will release some of the muscles in the calf also, and just let that go and just sit back as far as you can, lengthening those muscles, and roll up. Switch sides. Lift that leg nice and tall. Toe is up, heel is down, lean into it. You're coming forward, not down, and hold. Good. I hope you enjoyed today's exercises. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you felt like you really worked all those muscles in your body and challenged that brain. So good for you, and roll all the way up. And I want to thank Jarmila and Bob and Stan and Chris and Jane for coming and joining me this morning. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you were here. And I wish you all a safe, great week next week. And again, if you are watching not live, if you're watching later in the day, please give us send us a note and tell us if there's a better time for you, or any other comments you have about this class, because we really want to make this as great for you as we possibly can. So thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Take care.